Hi guys, welcome to the next section, Ember Templates. Now, we move on to the first video of this section that deals with defining an application template. Ember Applications use a templating engine to display HTML and dynamic content to the user. In Ember, this is done via the Handlebars templating library. This library takes Handlebars expressions and renders them to the screen using data binding. HTML bars is a variant of Handlebars that Ember uses as well. It has better performance and handles building the DOM in a more efficient manner. To work with templates, we need to understand the basics on how properties bind with controllers and components. Before we get started, we'll need to generate a template. We will first create a new application using Ember CLI. For that, we type in Ember new hello word app command. This command will generate a new application that we can use. It will take some time. Now, we will move to Hello World app. Next, we will create a new root that will add a new template. For that, we will type in Ember.js root hello world. This command will generate the template and roots file as well as unit tests. The template file is called helloworld.hbs and will be generated in the templates folder under app folder. The root file is called helloworld.js and is located in the roots folder under app folder. The root.js file will also get modified with the new Hello World root. After this, we will need to generate a controller. For that, we will type in Ember.js controller hello world. This will generate a new file called helloworld.js in the controller folder and a unit test and controllers under unit folder. We are now ready to continue. Let's take a look at adding properties to our new template file. Begin by editing the helloworld.hbs file. For this simple example, we'll create a string with the first and last name properties. Here, we will be adding this line of code. Handlebar expressions are surrounded by double curly braces and backed by a context. A context is an object from which handlebar expressions read their properties. In this example, the context is the controller. The outlet will render the template of any nested roots. The controller will need to have the first name and last name properties so that they can be displayed in the template. Here, we start the helloworld.js file. We will add some lines of code in this file. We will define first name as test and last name as Ember. The controller has the same name as the template. The template, by convention, will retrieve the properties from the controller of the same name. Each of them is bound to each other. If any changes occur to the data, the other values will change. Now, we will move to using templates with components. Similar to controllers, we can create a component that can act as a context for the template. In the component, we set up properties that can be accessed by the template later. To create a new component, we use the generate component command. For that, we type in Ember.js component hello world. All components must have a dash in their names. This command will create the helloworld.js file in the helloworld.js under components folder, which is under app folder. A template file will be created in this folder and an integration test file at this location. We now edit the hello-world.hbs file and add the hello world string. Here, we will add some lines of code. The first name and last name parameters are retrieved from the component. The yield expression is used when the component is in the block form. Now, we have to add two properties to the component file. The first one being first name, and the last one being last name. Now, let's type in the first name as John and last name as Stephen. For the last part, all we need to do is add the component that we have just created to one of our application.hbs files. Here, we will add the handlebar expression that will add the component to the application.hbs file. The Hello World template will then be rendered here. The outlet template will render the nested roots under the application root. Let's save and close the file. We will now start the Ember server and navigate to localhost 4200. Ember server will take time to start, so we have to wait. After the Ember server is started, we will open a web browser at localhost port 4200. The message on the screen will show, "Hello world, my name is John Stephen." Ember.js uses the Handlebars templating library. This library provides you with a way to do data binding between the component or controller, also known as a context, and the template. This data binding occurs in both directions. In other words, changes to the data in the component or controller will be reflected in the template. Changes in the template to the data will be reflected in the controller or component. In the example, the first name and last name properties in the component were accessed in the template with double curly braces. This is known as a handlebars expression. The template is just regular HTML with embedded handlebar expressions. Ember compiles these templates later on during the build process.